Not necessarily, no, I don't. In fact, sometimes there's almost an apprehension to it, I would say. Um, there are certain aspects within our audience that are definitely, ready to raise the flag, so to speak. But we don't we don't start by writing songs for anyone but ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we hope that other people will find meaning in it and will glean what they can from it in a positive way. But the minute that you start being a slave to what other people's desires are, you're not really a true artist. You're not creating from your own passion, from your own sense of what's important to you. The conviction won't be there the same way. So I think that it always has to start with what is close to your heart as an individual. And hopefully other people will share the passion, or at least see it, feel it, and be able to appreciate it. Another way to die, certainly it reflects an issue at this point in time which is undeniable. It was written 5 months prior to the BP disaster, and there is no clearer example of our abuse of the planet and the ecosystem that is such a delicate thing that we're trying to save somehow in the Gulf currently. Um, you know, we want there to be a future for our children, a world for them to actually be able to partake of and enjoy, and in a clean environment, and without toxicity. And that's something that was important to us from prior to something like that ever happening. And we always need to speak about subject matter that's close to us. Never again. I had kind of like this epiphany sort of that occurred after I had spent some time visiting with my grandmother, who's a survivor of the Holocaust. Both of my grandparents on my mother's side were survivors of the camps. My grandfather was in Bergen-Belsen, and my grandmother was in Auschwitz. My grandfather survived because he was a stockier guy, and he was on wheelbarrow duty. He used to cart bodies to the crematorium. And my grandmother survived. She was a little girl at the time, 5, 6 years old, and they allowed her on 3 separate occasions when she was in line to the gas chambers to crawl underneath their legs to the back of the line. And after the 3rd time, the camp was liberated. That's how she survived. I went and visited my family in Israel. I went to my grandfather on my father's side grave, which I hadn't gotten the chance to visit since he died. I wasn't at his funeral because I was out on tour, and I couldn't leave the tour. And everything kind of came full circle to me, and I kind of realized I went to Yad Vashem, which is the Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem, and everything was very moving to me. And I'm like, something, with animals like Ahmadinejad out there who are ready to say that the Holocaust never occurred, and with the last remaining living generation of survivors about to be lost to us, I think it's important that people know that this is not just a story.
Mm-hmm.
And to take it from something that's in a history book to creating a personal connection, that even if it only affects a minute number of people, but if people realize that this isn't just something that happened in a book, but this happened to my family, it wiped out my entire mother's side of the family, that maybe it becomes more real, maybe it becomes more tangible, and maybe it'll be something that at least I can do something small on my part to preserve their memory. Personally, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that while I have respect for anyone who is clinging to any sort of religious belief, because it can really be a very strengthening thing, it can be a very good thing in terms of family and in unity. So I'm not condemning it on any level, but for me personally, I'm not a practicer of religion, and I don't really believe in organized religion per se. I think that spirituality is between yourself and God, and to leave it at that, and you don't need a bunch of old men to dictate what you are supposed to do in an antiquated sort of way that doesn't reflect on modern day society and which has no modern day applications to it. The you know, the death of religion, in many ways, is something that was even proclaimed by Friedrich Nietzsche back in the day. I mean, so science, he claims, killed religion. I don't necessarily believe in that. I think that there is a spiritual aspect, and there is a power that's beyond our understanding, whatever you want to call it, whether it's Mother Nature or God or anything else, and that you have to respect it. But that's my opinion, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. As far as the secularization of society within that country, I think it could only help, not hurt. I think that religion has been the catalyst for just about every single major conflict since the dawn of humanity. And the less of a catalyst it becomes, the better, as far as I'm concerned.